So we're going to do the angle plate, and there's two things we need to do. We need to draw the partial auxiliary view as well as the partial side view and the front view of this angle plate. So we're going to do it. What we can see first is what is the shape of our front view. So I'm going to start my sketch with that. I'm going to give it a height. I'm not using a scale. I'm just sketching what I think my proportions are going to be. Right? And there is a thickness. I'm going to use about 2 units for my sketch. And this goes at 45 degrees. So I'm going to, for our sketch, we can actually use our grids for 45 degrees. Now I don't know where this is going to stop, so let me go here. Okay, remember we can only get our features from our actual surface that has a true dimension. So we're going to do our right side view. And our right side view consists of our depth, which would be this part here. So our depth and the height of it. So this piece here. So I'm going to project this over. And I'm going to then start with the height of that particular surface and the depth. So I'm going to go very, very light. It all depends on what you want to do. I'm trying to do, this is just, it's a little less than about twice the height. So that's what I'm trying to do. So if I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, it's a little less. So I'll maybe go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. No, it's actually longer than our height. So I'm going to go here. Okay, I'm not sure what that is going to be. Now we're going to put in these here. So we know that there is a center line that is saying these two are symmetrical on both sides. I can find half of it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 5, and halfway down here is where everything should fall. Right? We're going to find, we're going to figure out where the arc that we want here. Our arc is 1 and, 11/16. So my 11/16 I'm going to assume is somewhere about there. I'm going to do it on both sides. Right? Also, I'm going to block out where these are going to fall as well. So I'm going to sketch that in to represent where my center line should be. The arc of this is about half. Now again, I'm not using the half. I'm doing a sketch. It's all based off of proportions. You might end up having something that's a little wider, but that's fine. Right? And then I'm going to stop it here. So then our arc goes here. I hope everyone's following. And this will actually go all the way here. Okay, so I'm going to start with this side, and I'm going to use a sheet of paper. We're going to go back to our basics where we're using how we draw a two-dimensional circle when we're sketching. So I'm going to make my marks. I'm going to do some more because I need some more help. Okay, and I'll do it on the other side as well. only because I have my guides here that I can work with. Okay, so we're going to go into this one here. I'm going to mark off my radius for it and make my guides. Now, if you're comfortable with it, you don't need to do as many. The main thing we do not want is that our arcs start to look too square. Okay, and I'll do it on this side as well. What, everything I'm putting down as a construction line. Now I can go into this and I can define my shape. Right, it's all about the control of the line. All right, so we have that portion done. I'm going to add my center lines in. Remember where your center line has to extend past the tangent, right? So I'll do it here as well. And this is only one tangent here, so we're only extending there. We'll do the same thing on this side. Right, it extends past that tangent. And it only extends past this tangent as well. So we'll do this side as well. Again, I use about 3 units, two units wide. Okay, I can put in my center lines. Getting thrown off. And again, we make our marks. Okay, so I'm defining this. Now this edge here has to be replaced with something we call a break line. And a break line is pretty much just small zigzags or uneven lines that is being created, right? So that is our break line. We've completed our partial right side view. We're going to extend or put in our hidden details that we have here. So I'm going to project my edges from my arcs over, And I'm going to add in my hidden lines. And I'm also going to extend my center lines. Right? And we're going to start from the middle and we go out and we extend past the object line. Right? Let's try to have them about even amount. So we're going to look at creating the auxiliary view. Now the auxiliary view, remember, is when we project from the inclined surface perpendicularly or at 90 degrees. So this is our surface that we want to get the true measurement from, because if we look at it from our right side view, it's not going to give us the true dimensions or the true surface. So we first need to project our surface at 90 degrees. Now this is a little easier for us because it's at 45 degrees. So we're going to go at 45 degrees here as well. I'm not quite sure where I'm stopping. Now, because we don't know what the height of it is, we need to get, or this particular width, we need to get that from our auxiliary view. Now, this is our auxiliary view. We've seen here, this is the line that we would have drawn here. This relates to that line. That is what would have been here. So, if we look at it from the established center of the drawing here, we know that this line is also this edge that we projected here. So this will also fall here. So the first thing we do is we get our auxiliary reference plane. Now, it can be at whatever distance once it's not overlapping another view. So I'm going to put it right here. This is where my auxiliary reference view is going to be. Now, I use the auxiliary reference to start where my view is going to be placed. So this is our auxiliary reference plane, right? And now we have to transfer our depth, which is whatever we've used here. Now to make it easier, we can take a sheet of paper and we want to get the exact depth that we've used because then it looks more accurate. And we're transferring that depth over to our, I can extend it to about here. So we're extending it and we're going to carry it over. Right? So remember, this is our depth. This is also our depth. That's what we transferred over. All right? So that's our depth that we've taken here. We also need to get our height. Our height is going to consist of, or our width is going to consist of 1 1/8 as well as 1 1/8. So whatever that is, it's 2 1/4. This is also 2 1/4. So it should be about the same thing we have here. And I'm just using the paper because it's easier for me to get a proportion of what it's going to be. So I'm going to take that and I'm going to carry it over. But so, and we don't even need to stick to that. If you need it to be a little easier, we can go up to the higher one here. But it gives us an idea of what's close to the proportion it needs to be. Now we know halfway through there is a center line, so we're going to go halfway through. And I'm going to get my half from here again. Right, it's somewhere here. So I'm going to mark that off as well. What? This is the line that we have just identified. Now we want to find our center line. It's halfway again of these two. we're going to get halfway of what this line is here. And halfway of this line is this line that I've just folded. So it falls somewhere there as well. All right, so that would be where our center line would fall for our circle. I'm going to identify a height of where I think that's going to be. I'm going to make that right here. Right, so that would represent these two edges we have here. Now we're going to block in for our overall shape. Now remember that this is not actually falling on the tangent. That's not where this is going to start and that's going to start. So this is, it's about that. So let's get a measurement. Right, somewhere there. And we're going to block it off. Again, we're using how we construct our circles. Okay, I'm going to go across. I think we have the last part of the picture. So let me just adjust that so you can see. Okay, now my arc is supposed to go around here. So I'm going to get that radius. I'm going to mark it on my I need some extra points because it's a much larger circle, a much larger arc. Right? And I'm going down with a construction line because I do not want to define it just yet. Now, since this is our arc, the arc is connected or is creating a tangent straight onto it. So we're going to go in a straight line where we think the edge of our circle is to where the line connects. And I'll do the same thing on the other side. All of this is by eye, since it's our sketch. Right, so we have that shape. Now we're going to go in with our hole feature that we have here. Again, we're going to go down with our circle, or the construction of our circle that we have. Let's see, 1, 2, up. Okay, my circle maybe can actually be slightly smaller, so I'm just going to fix that a bit as I'm looking at it. Now again, this is a sketch. It all is based on proportion. Now I'm adjusting to go with my proportions. All right. So we made guides again. Okay, I think I'll go with the smaller one. So we're going to follow our guides here. And all around. Okay, and I'm going to go in with it. Okay, I'm going to start defining my shape. One. And again, we didn't need this one because I looked at it and I realized it was a little too big because I'm doing it in proportion to it. So we have our circle. We can now add in our center lines. Again, the center line only goes over or extends past the object line or the tangent point. Okay, now that we have these features, we can now project that over to find our visible, our hidden features. So we know now that this is the height. Now, of course, you could have added up that height, but you wanted to make sure that you're projecting from your visible features. Okay, and then we project down these edges, which will be hidden. Same thing here. And then we'll also project our center line. So again, we start from the middle, we come out on both sides, long and short lines. Now another line that we have this edge that's happening here, so we need to project that down and project it down, and it's going to be a visible feature. You'll also see it here. So now you understand where this edge came out based off of the fact that we have it on our auxiliary view. Okay. So again, we have our depth. We've transferred our depth this way. So we have one more piece that we need to actually add to it. It's another hidden line. So if we look at this particular corner here, and if we project it, that is a line that has not, an edge that has not been projected. So if we think about it, can we see that edge when we look at the surface, right? The edge is under here, so which means if we look at it here, it's going to be a hidden edge, and this is where it's going to fall. So we need to add our hidden lines in to our auxiliary view. And we also need to do the same thing over here as well, which will fall somewhere here. So we're going to add our hidden lines in to this part as well.